Good day. My name is Greg Marley. I'm the Senior Clinical Director overseeing suicide prevention at NAMI Maine, and I'm here today.
And I am Julianne McLaughlin, the coordinator of the Suicide Prevention Program here at NAMI Maine.
And you're listening to the podcast from the suicide prevention crew at NAMI Maine. It takes all of us because prevention works. And we're going to talk today about what exactly we do, what we offer to support people in efforts to lower the risk of suicide, to support prevention. And NAMI Maine doesn't do this alone. For the past dozen years, we've had a formal contracting agreement with the state of Maine, the Maine CDC, Center for Disease Control, and this Maine Suicide Prevention Program. And in that, we serve as their technical experts, the content experts in suicide prevention, and doing the training and the technical assistance. And I'll talk about technical assistance because that's that vague term. No one knows what the heck that is. So we provide education, we provide training, we provide guidance and support for anybody to help them to be prepared to intervene and potentially save a life. That's broadly what we do. And we do that across the lifespan. This program, when it started in the late 1990s, it focused on youth suicide because that was easier to get funding for. Everybody could get behind it. And starting about 2011, we took a lifespan approach, which only makes sense because the risk of suicide increases into middle age and for men, even into old age. So that's what we do. And we are pretty thoughtful in terms of how we do our trainings. Julianne is the person who sets up the trainings, all the details, makes the connections, finds the room, points and clicks and tells Joyce and I where to go. There's a ton of details behind that. But can you talk about the targeted trainings maybe a little bit? We've got some of them written down.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a number of trainings that we offer at NAMI Maine that I help to coordinate, and we also will target trainings based on the group or organization that reaches out to us. So we recognize that it's important to acknowledge that different communities and different groups of people have different factors that impact their experience with their mental health and their risk factors and protective factors. So we have to adjust our approach, and we can't take the same approach for every person because it's not necessarily going to work for me that's going to work for you or for the next person. So we recognize that the LGBTQ community, for example, has increased risk factors compared to some other communities. And we also acknowledge those differences in different communities.
We do a lot of work with schools, but at the same time, we put a lot of effort toward working with groups that support older adults and people in middle age, veterans, the law enforcement community who are at higher risk for suicide. And so we train in all those places. We do a great deal for healthcare providers. So we train in community healthcare settings, in schools, and across all education levels. We try and get people who have got no experience in mental health at all, that kind of lay-level audience, and because they're the ones that are out there meeting with people. We work a great deal with professionals, school professionals, healthcare professionals, mental health professionals, community organizers, anybody who's working with that higher risk population. So we're going to later talk a lot more in detail about the trainings we offer, but we provide increasingly what we gently call technical assistance. And what that means is that we respond to requests for support and guidance around developing protocols and tools to intervene with people. And we do a great deal of work with individual organizations or people that are struggling with someone who's in need. So it's not unusual. I'll get a call from, say, a school clinician or a community clinician who says, Greg, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm just not sure how to respond. I'm working with this student and they really are struggling to maintain in school. There's a high absenteeism and there's some hopelessness and they're acting out with their anger and they blurt out, I don't even know why I'm here. Everybody would be better off if I was dead. How should we respond? And they don't want to ignore it. They want to make sure they're doing the right thing and providing the support to the student. And that's probably one of the easier ones we have. The other technical assistance is to support schools and programs to develop how they do this for the people they work with and support and with the tools that are appropriate. So what are the protocols? And a protocol, it's one of those big old terms that no one knows what it means. But basically, it's to make sure that the way that we do this is developed and it lasts longer than the person in that role. So if principal overturns or the school clinician moves on to another school, they still have those protocols in place. And it's to provide prevention work, intervention work, and support after a loss. And so we serve as a resource, and we provide those resources. We've been reviewing a lot of our resource material, and you can talk it just in general. What are the range of resources we bring to trainings and send out to people?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a number of different things and different types of resources that we offer to people. So, for example, we offer some information on data that comes from reports that are done. So, for example, the Maine Integrated Youth Health Survey has some graphics provided so that people can take a look at that and see the snapshot of what the most recent report has looked like. We also provide information and guidelines on how to approach some situations. For example, we have the Collaborative Safety Planning Guide, which helps to guide individuals in creating a safety plan for people that they are working with so that they can help prevent a future crisis after a crisis has happened.
Yeah, because the most important piece, someone may go through a really hard time. We all do. Everyone hits a wall that they can't find a way over or around. And in those times, we often bring those crisis intervention. But then when that person comes back, how do we support them so that they avoid or work with the next crisis? Because the next crisis, it's not going to happen when they're with us. So that's that wellness plan, that collaboration with the person. So providing the tools. And everything we do, we are data-driven. So we pay attention to the numbers and the trends of where the need is. And this is a program that, since its very beginning, 25 or more years ago, we try and keep up with best practices. So I'm getting older in my life, but how do we embrace technology? How do we do those things that bring it to people in a number of different modes? And I feel incredibly fortunate to have someone like Julianne working with us for whom much of that technology is almost second nature.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do try my best to get that technology working for us instead of against us.
And so that's kind of where we are. And we have a value, ethically and professionally. And Julianne mentions that we want to bring the information, the resources, the supports to the people that need them in a way that they can take it in. And so I call it tweaking. We will tweak our trainings to match the people we're talking to. Because every focus, every setting requires a little different focus. So if we're working with elementary school staff who refer to their students as littles, that's going to be different than if it's a high school staff. And if we're working with a community agency that supports women and others who are survivors of domestic violence, we're going to tailor it to the realities of their need. That's a value we bring because we really strongly believe that if people are prepared, they're able to support prevention. They're able to intervene with a sense of confidence and comfort where it's needed. That's what we do. We support suicide prevention. This is Greg Marley,
And this is Julianne McLaughlin.
and we look forward to seeing you next time on this ongoing podcast, because it takes all of us, because we're here to support prevention, because prevention works. See you next time.